One Monday, February 17th, 2025 at 12:22 p.m. Eastern time. We are streaming to John's Twitter, which I haven't done before, but we're gonna try it. Why not? So if you are, well, I guess if you're not hearing this, if you're on my Rumble channel waiting, I just changed the title to we're doing it on John's Twitter. So yeah, but I'm always down to try something new. So that's what we're doing. You've obviously been on here a zillion times before. If people go in the description, they can find your Patreon, your YouTube, your Twitter, all that good shit. And of the many topics we've talked about, the one we're going to talk about now is Apophis, which it's actually something that I remember reading about years and years and years ago. It's kind of one of those terrifying things of when I first found out about it, it was like, yeah, that's a lifetime away. It's in 2029. And now it's like, that's in 4 years. And I'm like, oh, that's all right. All right. That's okay. It's like this. I think when the first time I found out about it, I was maybe in high school, which means the earliest 2020 or 2009. So, or whenever the
Yeah,
fuck it was discovered.
I
So,
think, yeah, I think that's when we
yeah.
started talking.
And now it's kind of dawning on me. I'm like, oh, all right. So,
Well,
like,
the
yeah.
other thing is, I mean, I don't know if you've noticed, but just in the last week or so, there's been a lot of news about asteroids and China and how China is working on a project to deflect an asteroid. I don't know, have you seen these news stories? I don't know if you've seen them.
No, but I believe it.
So, can pull up your browser, see if you can find, like, I want you to show everybody I'm not crazy. You can share your screen, right? You can do
Yeah.
that. You're a gamer. You know how to do all that crap.
I barely know how to
So,
do anything.
yeah. So it's first see if you can find anything about China and asteroid, right? See if you can find any news stories about China and asteroid. There's been like a ton of stories in the last week that China is putting together some mission to deflect an asteroid or something like this. And there's been a lot of talk about an asteroid that's been discovered recently that is making a close pass in 2032. And this seems like a playbook that we've seen before. All right,
Yeah.
so do you see any stories about China and an asteroid there?
Yeah, I did. It's gonna fuck up if I pull up Google Chrome because I have Rumble Studio open, but I just Googled it. Yeah, China Planetary Defense Force.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a
So
ton of stories on this, right? There's a
yeah.
ton of stories. So China's doing something, and then the other thing you're going to see is a lot of news stories about this other asteroid called 2024 YR something or other. And the issue is this asteroid that's in the headlines right now that everybody's talking about is in 2032, 2024 YR4. So if you just type that into your search engine, you'll find a whole bunch of news stories about 2024 YR4 asteroid. Put that in the search engine, and you're going to be like, wow, this is one, this asteroid must have hired CAA, Creative Arts, right? They got Ari Emanuel working for them. This asteroid's got the PR department going overtime. Wow, look at all the stories about 2024 YR4.
Yeah,
It's like,
December
whoa,
2032, 2% chance of hitting Earth.
all the stories. Oh my God,
Yeah.
dude,
And I don't know if
story of
it's what this
story.
says about me or what, but I just have a hard time now taking truly anything I see in the news with any sort of value, which is bad because the end point of misinformation is hypernormalization, where you don't accept an objective truth. So
Right,
I'm wary not to
correct,
become completely apathetic. But when I
right.
see stuff like this,
All right.
I've known about Apophis. I personally have known about it for over 10 years. And I
Right.
go, why are they trotting it out now? That's when I start to go, it's for no genuine and or good reason.
Mm-hmm.
So fuck it. But
No,
you also
no.
do have
So,
to take it into consideration because it's not it's not a balloon, it's an asteroid heading for the planet.
yeah. All right. So let me share with you sort of my
Yeah.
experience with this. I didn't know anything about it until 2020. And in 2020, Shepard Ambellis came on the podcast that I was doing with Jason Goodman, right? So Jason and I were doing a show every Friday. And Shepard came on the show one day, Shepard Ambellis from IntelliHub. And I knew Shepard, from years before. Like, I used to check Shep's page in Telehub and InfoWars. And it was like, those were the two places you'd go to get alternate takes on what was happening, right? So if there was, a mass shooting somewhere and you're like, you'd go to InfoWars and you go to IntelliHub, and those were the two places you go. So I was really excited that, we had Shep on the show, and I don't think this was the first time, it was maybe the second, third time. And he came on the show and said, I don't know, guys. There's military movement and all this stuff. They're like, wow, military movement? What the hell are you talking about? It's a respiratory infection in China. What kind of military? And then he whips out these videos. He's got like a network of people, that now I have something similar that send him content. And he's like, dude, check this out. And I was like, whoa, they really seem to be moving the military around. And it turns out this was the early stages of them building the field hospitals.
Hmm.
But they hadn't gone public on that we were building field hospitals. And so Shep comes on and says, well, what if this comet story, and this was Comet C19 Atlas, was really kind of worse than we think, and this virus thing is just kind of a cover-up for the comet story. And he starts talking about Nibiru and the Blue Kachina and all this stuff, and I'm like, whew, not my wheelhouse. I don't know about any of that stuff. But it's Shepard Ambellas. And so after the show, I was like, well, let me check it out. Let me see if there's anything here. Right? Does this thing have any legs? And I start poking around, and lo and behold, it's like, you go looking for, you're on a quest for the Holy Grail, but instead you find King Tut's tomb instead, right? It doesn't suck, right? It's like it's not a bad second, all right?
Yeah.
So I didn't find the Holy Grail, but I discovered that April 28th was an extinction level event and that all these asteroids are converging on Earth. And that wasn't the comet. So in other words, the whole comet Atlas, C19 Atlas thing broke up. It was like flying between Mercury and the sun, and as it got closer to the sun, it exploded. All right, but Shep's hunch got me to go to Jet Propulsion Laboratory and check the data, right? So I'm at Jet, so it's like, this is the power. It's interesting. False positives can be powerful. So Shep was like close enough that I'm looking in the realm of Jet Propulsion Laboratory, and I discover all these near-Earth objects converging on Earth April 28th of 2020. And as I'm looking at all of them, there's an asteroid that's kind of jumping off the page at me, okay? And the asteroid that's jumping off the page at me is jumping off the page at me because it is the only one that has a rarity rating of 6. And a rarity rating of 6 means this is like a once every 10,000 year, once every 50,000 year type event. And it's like, that's pretty significant. So if you look at what I have on the screen, the 5th one down is Apophis. It was discovered in 2004. In 2009, they were doing these calculations you talked about and assessing the risk. And the mistake they made was they published the risk. And then Langley realized that's a mistake. You don't want the public to know this. This is who published that? Yeah, we're going to retract that. We're going to say that was a mistake. And who was the guy who did that? Yeah, he's a numbskull. Yeah, he's fired. He doesn't have a job anymore. That was a mistake. That was an error. It's going to fly right by. Nobody has anything to worry about. Okay. Here's the deal. Apophis, the 5th one down, is 23,600 miles from the core of the Earth, from the center of the Earth. The Earth has a diameter of 8,000 miles, so the radius is about 4,000 miles. So take 4,000 away from that, and you're at about 20,000 miles from the surface. Well, that's inside geosynchronous orbit. Geosynchronous is at 24,000. So at 20,000 miles, this is going to pass through our satellite, geosynchronous satellite belt. Okay. And that's a forecast. Now, if we look at the size of this thing, it's about 1 kilometer across. So it's about the size of the Eiffel Tower. It's 300 meters, not a kilometer, 300 meters, about 1,000 feet. So 1,000 feet, 300 meters, so about the size of the Eiffel Tower. And that's not good. So if you've got something that's that big, passing that close in April of 2029, April 13th, 2029 is the date, 20,000 miles from the center of the Earth, and it's about 300 meters across, 0.34 kilometers. And the rarity is 6, meaning something that big getting this close is a once every 10,000, 50,000 year event.
And it's going like what, Mach 10, Mach 15,
Yeah, more like 25. Yeah.
16. I'm trying to do the math in my head, but I
Yeah,
suck.
yeah, yeah. 20.
760
Yeah,
miles.
yeah, yeah, yeah. 20,
No,
20.
you're right. No, that's over. Yeah, it's like 22. Never mind. 760 times 10, 7,600, 14, 15, 20. Yeah. Okay, and then momentum is mass times velocity.
Nice. So, all right. So now the one that you're hearing about in the news is the one that's the second from the bottom on this list. That's 2024 YR4. The second one from the bottom. 2024 YR4 doesn't get here till 2032. It's 3 years later. Okay. How far is it from the core of the Earth? 100,000 miles. Well, the other one's 5 times closer.
Hmm.
So if it's 3 years later and 5 times more distant,
And 10 times smaller.
and it's 43 meters to 100 meters across, let's
Okay,
call it 60.
call
Call
it
it 60
30%.
meters instead of 300, instead of 100.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So it's half the size. So it's half the size, and it's got a rarity rating of 3, and it's 3 years later. And it's 100,000 miles away. It's almost half the distance to the moon. What the hell are you worried about that one for? I'd be worried about the one that's 20,000 miles away. That's 3 years sooner.
It's kind of the pandemic fiasco again. You're using one to hide another, except for there's a 3 year difference. But yeah, you're
But
using
isn't it
one to hide.
amazing?
Yeah, no.
It's
Why are
almost
they
like
focusing on
Langley. Dude, I swear their playbook has 2 pages.
that?
Okay, page 1, how to use a Patsy. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Dude, we've got a Patsy asteroid here.
Yeah.
They said we're going to need a Patsy asteroid. Yo, Mikey, go find an asteroid and write up some stories about the Chinese. Nobody's going to know what the hell they're doing anyway. What, are they going to call China? They say, hey, China, you really going after 2024 YR4? Is that legit or what? Who's following up here? Who's making the phone calls? Nobody. Nobody even, dude, they don't scratch the surface anymore. There's no, it's like, and any of the real investigative journalists, they fire, like Catherine Herridge and Cheryl Atkinson. It's like any of them who are any good, they lose their jobs, right? I mean, all they wanted were Bambis, right? They wanted, the Bambis running around. So you're looking at the data. This is from JPL. This is from NASA. In Pasadena, in fact, right near where the fire was. So they've been tracking Apophis for a long time. It's coming within 20,000 miles. And for those of you who are familiar with the 3-body problem, the 3-body problem was just solved recently. Like in the last, what was it, 10 years ago, 12 years? I mean, it's a recent thing that they figured out this formula. That's for 3 objects. You know how many objects, how many asteroids there are flying around out there in the asteroid belt? I mean, it's an unbelievable number. So as Apophis is flying around, it's got to pass all these things, right, as it's coming in. And so this kind of introduces, how many asteroids are there that this thing has got to pass on its way in? And that's got to be a mess, right? I mean,
Mhm.
if you can't figure out the three body problem, how are you going to calculate the impact that all these different asteroids are having on Apophis over the course of the next 3 4 years as it works its way here? I mean, there's a lot going on out there, and we can calculate three.
If I had to defend their position,
Yeah,
I would say that it just in the same way that, I don't have to calculate, the difference in at like the moon goes over and pulls the tides, but like no one's worried about like a plane going over that doesn't affect the tides. Maybe, and I
right.
have no, and I'm talking completely out of my ass.
No, you're right. You're right.
Maybe
And
the
that's a reasonable
Well,
explanation.
maybe it might be that
Is negligible.
99.999% of the shit in the asteroid belt, though numerous, they might include shit the size of a piece of sand. And if
All right.
Apophis is 1,000 feet, they might be saying,
Yeah,
for all intents and
it's a
purposes, it's
reasonable. It's a
alone.
reasonable
If I
counter
had to,
argument.
if I had
Right,
to.
which would be that. So let me check my understanding. So my understanding of what you're saying as a counter argument, which I think is reasonable, is, well, based on our experience, the gravitational effect of all these asteroids over the course of the next 4 years would be negligible and would only account for maybe a 10-foot variance
Yeah,
in whether it goes this way or that way. That would be sort of a way to put
yeah.
it. And that's a fair position
Unless it strikes one of them.
unless you've got evidence that NASA has been screwing this up for years.
Yeah,
And that's the relevance of. So one of the things I posted earlier today on Twitter X is I've been posting to Twitter hashtag 4 years to live, 4 years to die. And a year ago I was posting hashtag 5 years to live, 5 years to die. And the year before that, I was posting 6 years to live, 6 years to die. And the year before that, I was posting 7 years to live, 7 years to die. All right, so I've been tracking this thing and trying to call attention to it since I learned about it in 2020. And I've been posting about it, posting about it, posting about it, and posting about it the whole time. Meaning my awareness of NASA and NASA's tracking of asteroids became heightened. And as soon as they announced that such and such was coming, I'm on it. I'm watching it like a hawk. Okay? And what do I find? Their forecasts are terrible. They're off by 100,000 miles all the time. In fact, there's one asteroid they lost completely. They're tracking it, and then they come to work on a Wednesday, and it's like, hey Richie, what happened to it's gone. All right, so they're not that good at this. Let me play a video clip for you so that your audience doesn't think I'm completely out of my mind. All right, this is what happened. This is April. All right, so this is let's see, where's my April video? Here we go. All right, so this was in April of 2020, and not many people were paying attention to this. I forget where I found this. It might have been at NASA, but let me turn the audio down because my EDM audio tends to make the dogs go crazy. All right, so this is in April of 2020.
you're not showing it.
I know,
Okay.
and it barely, like, very few people are aware of this, and I'm tracking this. And the thing that I'm like tracking is when they make a forecast and tell you next Thursday an asteroid the size of seven ostriches will pass within 50,000 miles. Okay. Then the day after, the follow up story is, yeah, it was 183,000 miles away. And I'm like, wow, you guys really suck at this. All right. So watch this. And there's a punchline in this video where they lose an asteroid. They entirely. Okay. So for me, all their credibility was gone. All right. So let's watch this together. Tell me what you think.
You're not you're not showing it.
Everything around me move. Got nervous when you looked my way, but you knew all the words to say. Then your love slowly moved right in.
I'm gonna start it over.
Night I laid my eyes on you. Felt everything around me move. Got nervous when you looked my way, but you knew all the words to say. Then your love slowly moved right in.
All right, look at the date. When did I say we had an extinction level event? April 28th, 29th of 2020. One of those asteroids is 4 kilometers wide.
It's a big boy.
That's
That's
a problem.
That's a big
That's a problem. That's a problem. If you think Apophis at 1,000 feet, 300 meters, this is more than 10 times the size. This was a planet killer. Yeah, this is a planet killer. This would destroy the planet. I'm going to show you a simulation of what happens if Apophis hits, and it destroys about half the planet. All right, so we're going to take a look at that in a second. But this one from April 29th of 2020, we're going to look at the animation showing the convergence. So, but again, this is, I didn't make this video. It says courtesy NASA, right, in the bottom. I didn't put that there. So, you know, again, there's an asteroid heading towards Earth 4 kilometers in diameter in April of 2020, and it's scheduled to arrive April 29th. Anderson Cooper didn't think that maybe should be his second story, third story of the night, or, you know, Kanye was a bigger deal, or, you know, about 2020 April, what, you know, where were we? You know, Caitlyn Jenner just had a car accident. I mean, what story was a bigger story than the 4 kilometer asteroid heading towards Earth?
Everything around me move. Got nervous when you looked my way, but you knew all the words to say. Then your love slowly moved right in. All this time, oh my love, where you been? Mesmerizing every way. You keep me in a state of daze. Kisses make my skin feel weak. I'm always melting in your heat. That soul like a burning wind. Oh, I glide.
There you go. April 29th, 2020. And this is just one of them. There's about 40 of them. And you're not told about this in, you know, I'm talking about mainstream media. Obviously somebody named Igor made a video, but how is this kind of not news? You've got an extinction level event, April 29th of 2020. That was kind of peak COVID. Wasn't that 2 weeks to slow the spread? Where were we in the peak of 2 weeks to slow the spread here? Isn't that kind of... Didn't we have field hospitals like all over the country? Like there were field hospitals in Cincinnati and Cleveland. Cleveland, right? We built field hospitals, right? St. Louis, Dallas, Houston, Salt Lake City. They were everywhere.
March, April-ish, yeah.
Yeah. You know how many people were dead in Hong Kong? 4. You know what were dead in Shanghai? 7. The hell do we need field hospitals for? Because God forbid we might get to 10 dead in Houston, like Shanghai didn't for 2 years. And these field hospitals were ready for this pandemic breakout, and we put them away for 10 days later. Okay, they stood for 10 days. Armageddon's next date with Earth is April 29th, 2020. Huh. I guess Anderson Cooper, you think about the lead up to it, and in tonight's top story, a week and a half from now, we're expecting an asteroid. So in the weeks leading up to this, there was really no coverage because it's not that, this happens all the time, this type of thing. The end of mankind, the end of civilization. It's a common event, right? How is this not news? Nice one, right? There you go. All right, so they lost one. All right, so they're expecting one to hit. They're expecting an impact September 9th, 2019.
Maybe they did that MH370 zapper.
Yeah, that's horseshit. All right, so, and it's gone. It's just gone. And they have no explanation for this. So based on their forecasting prowess in the past, I have zero confidence in anything they tell us for the future that's a forecast. And they have a history of covering the stuff up and lying. Mm-hmm. All right. So if you have a history of lying and covering stuff up, why would I now all of a sudden start to believe that you're telling us the God's honest truth here? Why? You don't have a history of that. And even if you did, you don't have a history of accurately being able to track and forecast this stuff, let alone keep track of them. All right, so the net of this here is I'm not terribly impressed with their ability to track them. And then you just saw this whole thing about how back in April of 2020, there was a 4-kilometer asteroid heading towards Earth.
Yeah, that's a 50 cal.
Dude, that's a mess, right? I mean, that's a splat if ever there was one.
Yeah.
So, all right. So the question is, what is going on here? And let me show you guys. I mean, this was the extinction level event of April 29th, 2020. And this is something that it seems, Tommy, I'm the only one in the world who's reporting on this. I mean, you talk about exclusive. I recorded this on my computer. So everything you guys are seeing here, I did this, not Ivan, right? This is me. And this is proprietary, right? Nobody else did this, right? This would be like if Tommy decided to make a Jackson Pollock type painting. There's not going to be two like it. I did this. So what you're seeing here is mine. It's proprietary. Down the left-hand side is a list of asteroids in green with a little red X next to each one of them. So it goes from 2020 HF and 2020 HS3 down to 210 VQ and 2019 XF2 down on the bottom. There are about 40, 50 asteroids here. Not all of them are threatening Earth, but what you're going to see is a convergence. Earth right now is in the cluster up there on the right, and the upper right, there's a cluster of white dots, and in the middle of that cluster is a blue dot. Blue dot is Earth, and you're going to watch the white dots kind of converge on Earth. And that convergence is in the April 27th, 28th, 29th time frame. And that's when this 4-kilometer asteroid is whizzing towards Earth. Let's take a look at this together.
Oof.
Mm-hmm. So when I saw this, I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. And I was kind of stunned.
The
Now
Center for Cosmology Laser.
we just saw corroborated evidence saying there was a 4-kilometer asteroid arriving at the same time. So this is like a gravitational vortex almost. I don't know. Have you ever been to one of those places like Dave and Buster's or something, where there's all the pinball machines and all that stuff, and they have a thing where you put a quarter in and the quarter goes around and around and around for like, forever. Well, what if you put 50 quarters in the machine? At what point would they all kind of converge? Be kind of a rare thing, right?
Yeah.
This gravitational vortex is such a rare event. I ran this thing backwards like 500, like as far as it would go, until it stopped. There's not another one like this. It's like this is such a rare occurrence.
Yeah.
And it appears to me that NORAD and NASA had a view to this on March the 10th. Because March the 11th, everything changed overnight. And I think they went to the president on the 10th of March and said, sir, we need to show you something here. You need to see this, sir. We got a problem. And he's like, I thought we already had a problem. I thought I got a bird flu problem in China and all the chickens are dying and I don't have any eggs. And they said, yes, sir, that is a problem, sir, but this looks like a bigger problem than chickens and eggs, sir. Before the chicken and before the egg came Earth, and Earth may not be here in May of 2020. We may not have a May to talk about. So if we're worried about polling numbers, there won't be any polling numbers. There won't be anybody to poll in May of 2020, if we're correct, sir. And this is like a hailstorm of asteroids. I mean, this isn't just the big one. This is like a hailstorm. I mean, look at them all coming in and converging. It's kind of wild. It's kind of hard to believe. And so I send this via WeTransfer to Laura Ingraham on April 28th or April 20th. I forget the exact day. It was April 28th or 29th. And Laura Ingraham and I, via Skype on a Saturday morning, are watching this. And she was stunned. She had no idea. And she's like, it was like 8 o'clock in the morning East Coast time on a Saturday or Sunday morning or something. And we're on Skype and she's watching, we're watching together and she's stunned. And I think she's pissed. She's pissed off because Trump didn't tell her. She wasn't part of the inner circle. And she thought she was. And the fact that he didn't tell her, I think, aggravated her. So with all of this evidence of, this April 28th, 29th extinction level event, we got a 4-kilometer asteroid. We've got, the evidence of the cover-up of what happened in Akure, right? So we've got the Akure, Nigeria event that takes place that you would think if National Geographic was worth $10, if National Geographic as an entity had any value whatsoever, they don't send a crew here. We haven't had an impact of this magnitude since Whitecourt, Canada, 1,100 years ago, and there was nobody there when it happened. right? There was no Whitecourt, Canada post office in 1100 years ago, right? They didn't have one of those. There was nobody there, right? So the only witnesses to the Whitecourt, Canada impact were moose, elk. The one before that was in Kali, Estonia, 3,500 years ago. So you're telling me since the birth of Jesus Christ, there have been two impacts of this magnitude, and one was up in the tundra of Canada outside of Calgary? 1,100 years ago, so nobody's even aware of that one. And now we've got one that happens in civilization, blows the roofs off the houses.
Yeah, I was gonna ask,
Everybody's
that from the
standing.
shockwave.
And what's that? What'd you say?
I was gonna ask, yeah, is that from the shockwave? All those buildings were
Yeah, the airburst, man.
yeah, that's
Absolutely.
why. Yeah, looks like a weapon.
Yeah, check this here. Dude, this is
That's
crazy. We check
wild.
this
Yeah,
out. This
that
is,
was
yeah.
it's a pretty large circumference, and that looked like it looked like a like shrapnel.
There's nothing like this.
Yeah, Jesus.
Nothing like this. Yeah. And they don't, CNN doesn't send a crew. Christine Amanpour reporting from Akure, Nigeria, where we've just had the first impact. How do you not? Nothing. In other words, we keep hearing stories about asteroids, and this asteroid is the size of an elephant, and this asteroid is the size of two dishwashers, and this asteroid is the size of a Lincoln Continental, and this one's going to pass this close, and that one's going to pass that close, and NASA's tracking this one, and NASA's tracking that one, and boom, one of them hits, and it doesn't make the news. Why would you keep this a secret unless you knew there's
Yeah.
40 more coming?
Yeah, and I don't remember when, but I think I think it was during the Trump first term. There was that Russian one that it was an airburst, but remember that one that was caught on
Tunguska.
dash cam? No. Tunguska was like 100 years ago. I mean,
Oh,
a
I'm
couple
sorry. You're
years.
right. Chelyabinsk.
All the dash cams caught it, and so
Yeah, but
my point
that was
is like,
2013. I
okay,
think
so that's a long
2013.
time before. But my point is like when this stuff does happen, it does make the news. So it's you can't even argue, well, it's not newsworthy. Like, no, we've
Right,
seen it. It does make the news.
right.
Yeah.
Chelyabinsk definitely made the news. It had a big impact. Have people are your viewers? I've got a compilation of Chelyabinsk just so people understand.
Go for it.
Chelyabinsk didn't hit the earth.
Yeah, blow up.
Chelyabinsk blew up in the air like Tunguska, and that's called an airburst.
Yeah. Yeah, it was wild.
Yeah, this is some pretty crazy. What? Boom! All
Yeah.
the windows blow out. Yeah. So this is when it blows up in the atmosphere from heating and heating and heating. Watch what happens here. Boom! This is a warehouse. And this is like all over the place. Yeah, it's like nobody knows what's going on. Nobody knows what's going on. Under attack? Is it a bomb? Right? This is from an airburst, not an impact. Same thing with the trees in Tunguska. There's no impact crater. Now this one, when it blew up in the atmosphere, a big chunk fell into a lake. And you know the crazy Russians, they went scuba diving in
Yeah.
the lake. They got the rock from the lake right there out of their minds, and they dragged it the hell out of there. So they actually recovered it from the lake, which is kind of a big deal. This person's in a job interview.
Jeez.
It's like, is this a test? It's like, am I supposed to remain cool?
Yeah.
So this is, this was Chelyabinsk, so in Russia. So the stuff happens,
And it does make
and
the
the issue with Apophis is it's sooner, it's closer, it's more rare as far as the rarity scale. It's a 6. There are no other 6s. And yet all the news is about 2024 YR4. Why? Why would you be focusing on something that's 3 years more distant and 5 times more distant? 3 years out in the future from Apophis, 3 years further away. and it's 5 times the distance from the Earth. So the nonsense story they're saying is, oh well, we're incredibly confident with the orbital ephemera of Apophis, and I'm here to tell you nonsense. I'm here to tell you that the reason that Elon Musk is so close to the president is because the president knows exactly what's going on here, and Elon Musk is not going to Mars. Mars is the cover story.
Ooh,
Ah,
I like it.
okay. Mars is the red herring. Just right. I mean, come on. We got to have a patsy. So Mars is the patsy. Mars is the red herring, and the truth is in the video I'm about to share with you. His team doesn't know what they're really working on because of compartmentalization. And one of his guys is going to let it slip. Watch Elon's face. Watch his expressions as I play this video. We're going to play it twice because this is it. I mean, the net of it is he's not going to Mars. There's no water on Mars. What is he going to set up a Poland Spring factory? There's no water. He's not. It's absurd. It's an absurd premise. This is what he's doing. Pay attention.
What would you do if there's an asteroid heading to this planet in 8 days?
Yeah, exactly.
That's what they were told today.
Yeah.
All right, I want you to watch his facial expression.
Yeah.
All right,
I
so the
just
guy
finished
next
two
to
Elon
us,
Musk books back to back last week, and he's been obsessed with asteroids forever. Yeah.
all
Walter
right,
Isaacson and
so
Christian Davenport, those two books.
all right, so that then presents us with a beautiful, a beautiful dilemma, right? He either knows about Apophis or he doesn't. Which do you think it is?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no. Exactly.
All right, so he either knows about it or he doesn't. And now I'm going to play this clip again. I want you to watch Elon's face, watch his eyes. How comfortable is he that this guy next to him just mentioned this? And that he's giggling about it? It's almost like Elon is like, oh, you weren't supposed to say that. Yeah, you certainly weren't supposed to say that, on a camera, right? Watch again. Watch what happens here. Watch Elon's expression.
What would you do if there's an asteroid heading to this planet in 8 days?
Yeah, exactly.
That's what they were told today.
Yeah.
And who knows? Maybe there is.
Yeah, I mean, you never know. I think if we operate with extreme urgency, then we have a chance of making life multiplanetary. Still just a chance, not for sure. If we don't act with extreme urgency, that chance is probably zero.
His whole thing about life being so in the I think it was the Walter Isaacson one. I think his biography, he goes into he's always wanted to be multiplanetary, but one of his transformative things he actually talks about was he and a friend were after a bar one night. They were just talking about making a space company and could have happened, and they went to NASA, and he famously talks about going to the asteroid tracking page and was like, "Where's the defense team for this?" And he goes, and then I realized there wasn't one. And
Ta-da.
yeah,
Ta-da.
so he has
Dude,
a knack for it.
going
And,
to-
yeah,
If we're going to Mars, we'll go to Mars in 10 years. We got some rocks to tend to right now. All right. We got to take care of some rocks. I'm not worried about 2024. Why, dude, that's not the problem.
what did he say when he was interviewing Trump and when he went on Rogan right before the election? We're at a civilizational divide.
That if we act with a sense of extreme urgency,
Yeah, multiplanetary sounds like the code name for it. We can become multiplanetary if yeah.
right. He's like, look, all this work we're going to put in right now to move this rock will give us the ability to become multiplanetary
By not dying.
by not becoming extinct. This is
It's not a
Fermi's
lie.
paradox.
It's not a lie.
Fermi's
Yeah.
paradox is playing out in our lifetimes. We have 4 years to live
Mm.
unless this guy can figure out how to stick the landing with his atlas. So my proposal. So again, I'm kind of thinking, what do I think he's doing? I think he's going to go land a couple of his rockets on Apophis. And once they're landed on Apophis, I think he's got boosters. In other words, it's a double-ended rocket. Let's play this clip again. I want you guys to watch his reaction.
Watch his eyes.
Watch his face, knowing what Tommy just shared with you, his fixation on asteroids, his focus on asteroids, the fact he's talked about we don't have asteroid defense, and the guy next to him is bringing this up kind of, flippantly, are we almost done? Let's go to Taco Bell. It's very flippant, and Elon is kind of sweating from under his eyes here. Watch closely.
What would you do if there's an asteroid heading to this planet in 8 days?
Yeah, exactly.
That's what they were told today.
Yeah.
And who knows? Maybe there is.
Yeah, I mean, you never know. I think if we operate with extreme urgency, then we have a chance of making life multiplanetary. Still just a chance, not for sure. If we don't act with extreme urgency, that chance is probably zero.
You
should also look for movement around. I don't know. See if Bezos is. They would read Bezos, and that's the other. Yeah.
Bezos is building a hotel. He's like, I got the boat, and I'm building a space hotel, and I'll be up there with Michael Strahan.
But I mean, in terms of like cover, he is another billionaire with his own space program. Just in terms of
who's building a space hotel, right? So his cover story is, I'm building a hotel in space. We're going to do a Ritz-Carlton, right? We're going to do a Ritz-Carlton floating up there.
Yeah.
No, he's not. He's getting the hell out of here. Him, his wife, and his tight end buddy, Tony Gonzalez. They're getting the hell out of here. He's done. He's out. He's building a space hotel with the guy from Las Vegas.
Maybe that's what Doge is doing. Yeah, Bigelow. Maybe that's what.
Yeah, Bigelow. Yeah,
Doge is going in and they're cutting all this shit because
they need the money for titanium, bro. We gotta buy titanium.
$400 billion for space.
Right. How much titanium we need from the Russians? The Russians have got all the titanium. We're gonna buy it from Vlad. That's why do you think he's so close to the president?
Yeah.
This is mankind. Now, the last time this happened, Trump builds all these field hospitals, and nobody's told. It's a secret. We have an impact in Akure, Nigeria. It's a secret. We got a 4-kilometer rock heading into Earth, April 29, 2020. It's a secret. We put the field hospitals away after 10 days. Never heard about it again. If they covered that up, what makes you think you're going to be told the truth? Dude, everything I've been reporting are cover-ups. It's where they tell you this, but the real story is that. Las Vegas shooting. Bird flu, vaccines. You won't be told the truth. The news in the week leading up to April 29th, and in tonight's top story, we've got 4 days to live, potentially. Mikey, to you. How is that not news? This is, April 29, 2020 at the time was the biggest cover-up in history. When the president came out of the Oval Office, right, Trump comes out of the Oval Office with a parade of people. You remember this? It almost looked like a clown car thing. You remember when this happened? When he declares the national emergency? Right? Do you remember this March 13th? You remember this?
I remember in my life. I don't remember the actual moment. I don't remember him. I remember it happening. All
right. So Trump is going to declare a national emergency coming out of the Rose Garden, or, the Oval Office or whatever. I don't know which garden this is. You'll remember this event, right? You see this, right? Look at everybody coming out of there. You got Dr.
Release the
Fauci.
full power of the federal government in this effort today. I am officially declaring a national emergency. Two very big words. The action I am taking will open up access to up to $50 billion.
Why? This is March 13th of 2020. How many people were dead in New York? None. How many dead in Florida? None. How many dead in Texas? None. How many dead in California? 1. How many dead in Hong Kong? 4. Shanghai? 7. Beijing? 9. The hell? What are you declaring? And you close the doors to Cheyenne Mountain? And you enact the Stafford Act, and now O'Shaughnessy's actually running the show? Where's O'Shaughnessy work now? Do you know?
I do not.
Terrence O'Shaughnessy, General Terrence O'Shaughnessy, is now working at, let's have the audience search for it. You'll see it in the chat. It'll come up in 30 seconds. You're going to be stunned.
Also, it's Space Force. Well, we're not streaming a Rumble, so there isn't a chat.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're on.
So, you're going to post this to Rumble, though. You better post this to Rumble.
Yeah, no, I can only
Do one or the other?
Yeah, Rumble has their own proprietary faggoty shit. Yeah.
Oh, okay. You have to post it then.
Yeah, no, I will.
All right. So the notion here is he's declaring national emergency. There's really nobody dead from COVID anywhere but Wuhan, and Wuhan was in the midst of a bird flu outbreak. So that's that's a whole nother bag of worms. So what was the declaration about? Why were they closing the doors to Cheyenne Mountain? That was covered up.
Yeah.
And they don't then tell you the truth a week later, on 60 Minutes. It's like, and here we are with the president. Hey guys, I gotta come clean with you. So last week was one hell of a whopper. Here's what happened. They don't do that. They don't have that show where they come clean.
Well, they also wouldn't, because for the next time they have to pull some shit. They don't want you to know.
And here we are. Right. So here we
keeping
are.
Sources and methods. Yeah.
And the thing that's kind of wild is the field hospitals that were built globally. Like, dude, we built field hospitals in Tehran. When I say we, they, not us, but
yeah,
they built field hospitals in Tehran. So despite any political tensions or friction or whatever, at
brought the
that
world together. COVID, peace in the Middle East.
So Iran was told, we've got an extinction level event. You might want to put some field hospitals together. There is a global plan at the United Nations kind of level. And we've got ambassadors to the United Nations, and Iran was notified because they were building field hospitals in Tehran. So it appears that what you're being told now with Apophis, you're being told, there's no way it's going to hit, yet it's 20,000 miles away. We should really be worried about the one 3 years later and 100,000 miles. It's like, what? Why? What? Pretend that they're, two vehicles and you're trying to walk across the street. One of them is 5 times closer and sooner, and the other one's 5 times further away and way more distant. Which one are you more worried about? Yeah. So again, I'm afraid the government's been lying to us, continues to lie to us. And, as good as Trump is for the economy and the border and all the other stuff, he still has to, protect national security, I guess, or whatever categorization you'd put this in. But you're not being told the truth is the net of it.
Of course.
You want to see what happens if Apophis hits Earth, and we'll wrap up on that.
Yeah, we're fucked.
Right. So if it hits, this is a simulation, and the simulation uses a completely randomized impact location All right, so the impact location could be anywhere on Earth. This particular location was chosen at random by the simulator. And this is effectively what happens if it does make impact and we're unable to push it away. And I think this is why Elon is so upset. So let's take a look at this together. That said about the size of the Eiffel Tower. So there you go, buddy. It's Chicxulub type event.
Yeah.
Doesn't look good for anything but the cockroaches.
No, and the one upside I will say is that the time I have spent reading about asteroid impacts is at an appreciable size, which that one's way over. It actually comes so fast that it won't be kind of like the idea that like, oh, here it comes and it's rather it hits the atmosphere so fast. It's This is interesting. It superheats the atmosphere and then causes the air to plasmize, causing a
Wow.
fireball. So before it even strikes, it hitting the atmosphere will kill you. So the upside is you won't even see it.
And it's like a rifle shot. So your
Yeah.
point about the speed at which it happens so fast because it's
Yeah.
traveling 20,000 miles an hour, 25,000 miles an hour.
Yeah.
It happens like bang, and it's like that. It's just bang, and it's over.
Yeah.
And so you don't. It's not like the movies where,
No.
hey Martha, what's that? Yeah, no.
It's not
That's
a
for
bomb.
drama.
No,
It's bang, and it's instant out of nowhere. So I'm afraid that's what Elon is working on. I'm afraid that's why he's so close to the president. This is why we got to save all the money, is so that we can hire the people we need to hire. We can get the resources we need to get. We're wasting money on all kinds of nonsense. And if we can push this rock away, maybe we can make America great again. Maybe. But, holy mackerel, have you seen Panama City? Holy smokes, dude. No wonder he wants Panama. Take a look at Panama City, folks. Type that into your browser. Go look at some images. You're going to be like, what the? When did they do this? It is spectacular. No wonder we want Panama. It's like somebody's making money down there, and it's not us. Right? So you look around the world. Look at Chongqing, China.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And Chongqing, China. And let's compare that to Cincinnati or Houston or Oakland, California. I mean, if we're going to make America great again, we better we better focus on what's that going to look like, because it appears to me the rest of the world is leaving us behind.
Mm.
Check out the airport in Singapore. Compare that to LaGuardia or JFK. I mean, you kind of look at these other countries and you're like, how are they doing this? And it's because they don't squander all the tax money on nonsense,
Mm.
right? They spend it on infrastructure. Dude, go look at Vietnam. You're gonna be stunned. You go look at Ho Chi Minh City in Vietnam. Look at Saigon, Da Nang. You'll be like, I thought they were like pulling rickshaws. No, that's what the American government wants you to think. Look at Panama City. Look at Da Nang, Vietnam. You'll be like, whoa, 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 whoa. Why doesn't it look like that in Baltimore? George Carlin said this country was bought and sold a long time ago. Can we recover? I don't know. What do you think, Tommy? I don't know. I think Carlin was right. And I think without an eye towards the goal, in other words, so if we're going to make America great again, what's that going to look like? Because, man, you go to Camden, New Jersey, you go to Trenton, we got some work to do, boy. If you want that to look like, man, I mean, I'm talking about what are the countries that are known for cocaine? Bolivia? Go look at the big cities in Bolivia. You're going to be stunned. It's magnificent. It's gorgeous. It's like they squandered all the money here, and there's nothing left but a shell of what this country used to be. And if we're going to make it great again, I think we got to start looking overseas, and we got to start looking at, well, who's got the best education system? Singapore, Finland, Norway.
Mm.
Well, maybe we should look at what they're doing, right? Maybe the IQ of our people isn't necessarily because of fluoride. Maybe it's because our education system sucks, right? So maybe we should look to Singapore, look to Finland, look to Norway, Sweden, wherever it's tip top. What are they doing? Why are we doing those things? Our kids can't do math. And it's a travesty, if you ask me. So it looks like the country was robbed, and the president is lined up with Elon to save mankind. It looks like he tried to do it last time with these field hospitals. He was prepared for it. Nobody knew what was going on. And this time, I'm afraid we got to push that rock. And he's not going to Mars. Maybe in 10 years he'll go to Mars, but he's not going to Mars. Come on. That's a cover story. Apophis, we got 4.5 years to live, man. Not even. April 13th, 2029. And I'll leave you with that, buddy. Make every day count.
Yeah, I mean,
Because another one could show up 6 months from now, 3 months from now, 2 months from now, a week from now. We don't know. So life is precious. We all almost died April 29th, 2020, and no one knows. So everybody's here on borrowed time.
mm-hmm.
All of us. Make what you got left count.
Yeah. No, it's a perpetual sword of Damocles.
Indeed.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we'll track Elon's movements, see the programs, see what we
And
can
watch
piece together.
for slip ups like this. Watch for
Yeah.
more slip ups like what I showed you,
Yeah.
where he kind of leans forward and you're getting a peek at his hand a little bit.
Yeah.
You got to watch for that. And I can't thank you enough for having me on the show, Tommy.
Of course, dude. You're always welcome. I always enjoy
Incredibly
having
great.
you on, even if the topics are horrifying. I always enjoy it.
Indeed. Indeed.
Yeah, and I'll also upload this to Rumble and I'll send it to you. But yeah, let's wrap it up. And as always, man, my show is yours. Happy to have you on whenever.
Well,
All right,
thank you so
brother.
much. Again, it's intense stuff to talk about. I've got more stuff to share with you next time about the Butler shooting. We've got some new ballistic evidence
Absolutely.
that I
Let's
think
do
is
it.
pretty pivotal.
Let's
So,
do it.
all right.
All right, brother.
Thanks again, Tommy.
Thank you, man. Always good chatting. Thank you so much. Guys, please go to the description. Please go follow him on Patreon. Please go follow his Twitter, all that good shit. John, until next time, brother. Thank you so much.